Good afternoon and welcome. It's an honour to welcome President Xi to Downing Street. This state visit, in which the President of China is spending almost a week here in Britain, marks a key moment in the relationship between our two countries. It's founded on a basic belief, which President Xi and I share, that a strong relationship is in the interests of both Britain and China. We discussed this when we first met in Beijing nearly 8 years ago, and this week's visit and the many concrete agreements being reached as part of it are clear signs of how far the relationship between our countries has progressed in the intervening period. A strong relationship is in both our countries' interests, not just because it brings investment and jobs and higher living standards for our peoples, vital though those things are. The more we trade together, the more we have a stake in each other's success, and the more we understand each other, the more that we can work together to confront the problems that face our world today. The stronger the relationship between our countries, the more we'll be able to have a serious dialogue. We may not always agree, but we can discuss issues openly and constructively. Today, Britain and China have strong diplomatic relations, our businesses are creating deeper ties, and our people-to-people links are close. But there are opportunities to do so much more. We should go further on trade and investment, not only for China to invest in the United Kingdom, but also for British businesses to expand and grow in China. We should increase our financial and economic cooperation with the UK as the partner of choice for China in the West. And we must do more to work in partnership on the global issues that affect us both, from climate change to tackling poverty, and global health issues, working together to combat instability and extremism. As President Xi said yesterday, our task is now to seize these opportunities, and I'd like to say a word on some of the key areas for cooperation. First, trade and investment. Since the last state visit in 2005, our exports to China have quadrupled. In the last 5 years, they've increased by 140%, growing to almost £20 billion per year, making us the second largest investor into China. And investment both ways has also grown, with Chinese investment into the UK reaching over $5 billion in 2014. So I want to see more trade flowing between our countries, like Geely, owner of the London taxi company, announcing a £50 million investment in the United Kingdom today. We've got Chinese companies investing in Heathrow, in Thames Water. We've got UK architects designing Chinese cities. And I'm pleased to announce today that we're signing an historic deal to build the Hinkley nuclear power station, providing reliable, affordable energy for nearly 6 million homes and creating more than 25,000 jobs, all the while working together to build a low-carbon future. Turning now to our economic and financial relationship, China is well on its way to becoming the largest economy in the world. Last year, the United Kingdom was the fastest growing economy in the G7, and we are the leading champion within the European Union of open markets and free trade agreements. Here again, we're determined to take our relationship to the next level, including through the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, which will be of enormous benefit to the region, as well as opening up more opportunities for British business to help drive growth and jobs. And we were the first Western economy to issue an RMB bond outside China, which will be of great benefit to London. Today, President Xi and I have discussed how we can build on these ties through the UK-China Infrastructure Alliance. This will place UK firms at the forefront of opportunities to work with Chinese companies on infrastructure projects, including President Xi's One Belt, One Road initiative and our own Northern Powerhouse. We've also discussed the excess global supply of steel and how we can tackle it. But our relationship goes beyond trade and investment. China and Britain are both global powers with a global outlook. We share an interest in a stable and ordered world in which countries play by the rules and work together to address threats to our security and to our prosperity. We've discussed today how, as permanent members of the Security Council, we can deepen that cooperation across the board. We've already worked together successfully to deliver an agreement to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. And we've talked about some of the less familiar challenges we now face, such as how to tackle antimicrobial resistance, where the UK is a world leader. And I'm pleased today to announce that we have established a new fund to support vital research and development on this issue. We also discussed ways in which we can work together on international development, so the UK and China will work more closely to tackle global poverty and promote economic development in Africa, global health, international disaster relief, and opportunities for women and girls. It's testament to our strong relationship that we're able to work on these important issues, and also that we're able to have open discussions on more difficult issues, such as cyber, where we've reached a new agreement on cyber-enabled commercial espionage, and on human rights. So this visit marks the start of a new era. Some have called it a golden era in relations between Britain and China, an era of stronger economic ties, deeper trade links, closer relations between our peoples, and meaningful dialogue on the issues that matter to us both. And all of this is rooted in a relationship between our two old countries, a relationship fit for the 21st century, benefiting not just our nations and our peoples, but also the wider world. Thank you, President Xi.
尊敬的卡梅伦首相，
Mr. Prime Minister,
各位记者朋友，
friends from the media,
大家好。
good
首
afternoon.
先，我谨转达
First of all,
中国人民对英
I
国
wish
人
to
民的诚
convey
挚问
a
候。
cordial greetings and best wishes from the Chinese people towards the British
英国
people.
王室和政
The
府
royal family and government of the
对我这次访问给予
UK have
了
accorded to
周
me
密安
thoughtful
排
arrangement
和热情的接
and
待
warm， hospitality.
我对此表示
I wish to
衷心
express
的
my
感谢。
heartfelt gratitude.
中英两国都是具
China
有
and the
重大
UK
重要影响力
are
的大
both
国。
major countries with
今
significant
年是中英
influence.
全面战略伙伴
This year
关系
is the
第二个
beginning of
10
the
年
second
的
decade
开局之
of
年。
China-UK comprehensive strategic
两国关
partnership,
系正站在新
and
的
this
起点上。
relationship has come to a new
我
starting
这次
point.
对英国进行国事访问，
I'm making this state
就
visit
是
to
为
the
了
UK
继往开来，
to build on past
进一
achievements,
步提高两国政治互
elevate
信
our
水平，
political mutual trust,
深化双边
deepen
各领域的
practical
务实合作，
cooperation in all fields,
推动中英关
and
系
take
迈
China-UK
上新的
ties
台阶。
to a new level.
昨天我出席了伊丽莎白
Yesterday,
二世女王
I had
举行的
a full program
国事访问
of
活
a
动，
state visit accorded to me by Her
活动内
Majesty
容
the
丰富，
Queen, and I was deeply
庄重
impressed
热
by
烈
the。pageantry and warmth
刚
throughout.
才我同
And just
卡梅
now,
伦首相
I had a
进行了富有
productive
成效的
meeting
会谈，
with Prime Minister
就许
Cameron,
多问题达成重要的
and
共
we
识，
reached important consensus on
并
many
一致同
issues
意
and agreed
宣布构建中
and
英面
announced
向
here
21
that
世
we will
纪
build
全
a
球
global
全面战略伙
comprehensive
伴关系，
strategic partnership between our countries in the 21st
共
century,
同开启
and
持
jointly
久、
open up
开放、
a golden
共
era
赢的
of an
中英关
enduring,
系黄金
inclusive,
时代，
win-win China-UK
共
relationship,
创两国关
and
系的
jointly
美好
create
未来。
an even brighter future for our relations.
访问期间，我们
During
达
the
成了一
visit,
系列重要成果。
we achieved
我
a
同
string
卡梅伦
of
首相
outcomes,
见证和将要签署部分政府和企业间的合作
Prime
文
Minister
件，
and I will witness the
其中
signing
包
of
括
some
中国企业
intergovernmental and business
参与英
cooperation
国新克
documents,
利角核电站项目。
which include the Hinkley Point
这是
nuclear
近年
power
来中英
station
合作的
with the involvement
旗舰
of
项目，
Chinese company. And this is
将
a
为今后
flagship
双方深化
project
务实
of
合作
cooperation between our
发
countries in
挥示范
recent
作用。
years, and it will lead to more practical
双
cooperation
方
of
金融
this
合
kind
作
between the two
继
sides.
续走在前列。
Our financial cooperation continues to lead the way.
中方将在伦敦发
China
行中
will
国之外
issue in London
首支人民币主
RMB
权债券
sovereign。bond outside China for
中
the
国人
first
民银
time,
行将
and the
在英
People's
国发
Bank of
行
China will
50
issue
亿
in
元
the
人民
UK
币央行票
5
据。
billion RMB central bank bills,
两国中央银行将双
and
边
the
本
two
币
central
互换规
banks
模
will
从
extend
2000亿
bilateral
提
currency
高到
swap from
3500亿人民
200
币。
billion to 350 billion
人民币
RMB,
绿色债券首次在英国发行。
and first RMB green bond will be issued in the UK.
中国有一句谚语
There is a：“
一个今天抵得上两个
saying in
明天。
English, one
中国人常说
today is
时
worth
不
two
我待，
tomorrows.
只争朝夕
And the。Chinese people often say, seize the
让
day,
我们
seize
共同
the
抓住
hour.
机遇，开拓
Let's
进
seize
取，
the opportunity
推动
and
中
forge
英关
ahead
系不
together
断取得
to
新的
promote further
更大的发展，
progress in China-UK
为两
relations,
国人民乃至
and
世界
bring
来
more benefits
更多
to
的福
people
祉
of our countries
谢
and
谢。
rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very very much, Mr. President. I think we've got one question from the British press and one question from the Chinese press. We'll start with Laura Koonsberg from the BBC.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Prime Minister, if you were a steel worker who had lost their job yesterday at the same time as seeing President Xi being ferried down Whitehall in a golden carriage, how would you have felt? Is there any price that's worth paying in order to further our business interests with China? And President Xi, why do you think members of the British public should be pleased to do more business with a country that is not democratic, is not transparent, and has a deeply, deeply troubling attitude towards human rights?
Well, let me deal very directly with the issue about steel, because we discussed today the importance of the steel industry, and I want a strong and robust British steel industry, and we discussed the problem of global oversupply, and China itself has plans to reduce that supply. But I would completely reject the premise of your question that either you can have an exchange with China about the issue of steel, or indeed about human rights, or you can have a strong relationship with China which is good for business, investment and growth. My argument and my contention after 5 years of doing this job is that you can have both. Indeed, you must have both. The stronger our economic, trading, business and other partnerships, the stronger our relationship and the more able we are to have the necessary and frank discussions about other issues. And it's those discussions and that relationship that leads to that greater understanding that makes that positive. And what I would say to steelworkers in Britain is we will take action here in Britain. We'll take action on energy costs. We'll take action to help make sure that we procure British steel for British projects. Where we can take action on tax and other issues, we will take that action. Where we can take action in the European Union, we will take that action. But actually the investment we're talking about today, we're going to build a nuclear power station in Britain that's going to have British steel. We're building Crossrail under the streets of London right now, the biggest construction project anywhere in Europe, employing almost exclusively British steel. The infrastructure partnerships that we're talking about, the investment that we're opening up, means more demand for British steel, because that's the way we're going to make sure procurement works in Britain. So I totally reject the idea you either have a conversation about human rights and steel, or you have a strong relationship with China. I want both, and we're delivering both. And it's when you have that strong relationship and the strong partnership that we have, that you're able to discuss all of these issues. President Xi.
我还要，虽然记者没有问我，但是我也要这个
This
主动
journalist
的
did not ask
谈一
me,
谈呢。刚才
but
记
I
者
want
向
to
首相
say
先生提到的
something
这个钢铁，
about the thing that you asked
近
the
年来呢，
Prime
这个
Minister,
全球
the
的
iron steel
钢铁
issue.
行业都面临着产能过剩。
The world is facing the overcapacity of iron and steel, not just the UK.
这主要是由于国际金融危机
This
导
is
致的
because
各个
of
需
the
求下降。
impact of the international financial
目
crisis,
前中国的钢铁
the
产业
reduction of
也面临
demand,
着
and China's iron and
产
steel
能
industry
过剩、
is
消
also
化产
facing
能。
excess capacity and the challenge of how
中
to
国采取了
absorb
有力的举
those
措，
capacity.
大幅
And
度
China
化解
has
了
taken a series of
钢铁
steps
产能的过剩。我们
to
压缩了
reduce the
7780万吨
capacity.
的钢的产能，
We have reduced more
需
than
要安置的职工数
700
量可想而
million
知。
tons of production
近年来，英
capacity,
国已经成
and you
为
can
中
just
国企业
imagine
在欧盟
our
最
task
重要的
of
投
finding
资目
jobs
的
for
地。
those workers.
我们不光要看
And
在
the
钢的
UK
方
is
面
an important partner
出现
for
的
China
某
for
一种
industrial
程度的
cooperation.
竞争。
We should
截
not
止到
just
2014
focus
年
on
底
the competition in this
中
area.
国对英
We should see
累
that
计
by
实
the end of
际的投资是
2014, our
128亿美
investment
元，
in the UK
已经有
totaled
500多家中资企业在
12.8
英
billion
投资，
RMB
为英国
yuan,
创造了
and
6000多个就业
we
岗。
created 60
这一
million
次访
jobs
问
in
预
the
定签署
UK.
的
And
一系
this,
列的协
during this
议，
visit, we're going to sign a
还
number
将
of
为英国创造更多的
cooperation documents,
就业机
and
会。
such agreements will create even
中
more
方
jobs
对
for the
英方一
UK.
贯秉持自由贸易的立场表示赞赏，
We appreciate UK's commitment
希望
to
两国
free
加强
trade.
产业对话和合作
We，hope that we will further
通
our
过沟通和
industrial
协调
dialogue and
妥善
cooperation.
解决贸易摩
Through
擦，
collaboration and cooperation, we
避
will be
免采
able
取
to
贸易保
resolve
护的
trade
措施，
disputes and frictions,
促进
avoid
中英贸易
protectionist
关系
measures so
健康
that we
稳定
will
发展。
move forward our trade relations.
关于 这个记者提到的
And
人权问题，
coming to the human rights issue that you
中国
asked,
高度重视
China
人权的
attaches
保
great
障工作。
importance to the protection of human
我们
rights.
坚持把人权的普
We
遍性
combine
原
the
则
universal value
和
of
中国
human
的实际
rights
相结合，
with China's
走出了一
reality,
条
and we
适
have
合中国
found
国情的人权的
a
发展
path
道路。
of human rights development suited to
人权
China's
保障
national conditions. With
就全
regard
世界来
to
讲，
protection of human
没
rights,
有最好，
looking around the world, we
只有
know that
更好。
there is always room for improvement.
任何国家都需要不
All
断加强
countries
和改进人权
need
工
to
作，
continuously
以适
improve
应
and strengthen
时代的发展和
human
人民
rights
的需要。
protection to meet the needs of the
而在
time
人权问
and
题
the
上，
people. And
我想
on
最
the
大的
issue of
发言
human
权
rights,
还
I
是
think
各自所在国的绝大多数人民。
the people of our respective countries
中
are
方愿
in
在
the
平
position,
等和相
in
互
the
尊
best
重的基础
position to
上，
tell. And
同
China
包
is
括
ready
英国在
to,
内
on
的
the
各
basis of
国
equality and
加
mutual
强
respect,
人权领域的
increase
交流
exchanges
和
and
合作。
cooperation with the UK and other
谢谢。
countries in the area of human rights. Thank you.
Question from the Chinese press.
好，我下一个中国记者
A
提
journalist from China.
请新华社记者。
我们了解到，英国正在推进这个
We've
英格兰
learned
北部经济中心的
that
规划，
UK
并打算
government
与
is
中国的“一
advancing
路一
the
带”规
plan
划
of
相对接
Northern。
请问您怎
Powerhouse
么
and
看？
want to
谢谢
align。with the Belt and Road Initiative. What is your opinion?
“一带一路”呢，这个是东亚经济
The
圈，
Belt and Road Initiative connects the
亚太经济圈，
Asia-Pacific economic
西
circle
接
in
欧
the
洲的
East
经济圈。
and the
这
European
个我们说
economic
它传
circle
统
in
路
the
线有60
West.
多个国家，
And
实际
there
上
are
呢，
more
我
than
们指
60
的是一
countries
个
along the traditional
全
route.
球的这样的一个连接合作，
So we are talking about a global
这将
connectivity.
给沿线有关国家
And this initiative
加强互利合
will
作呢
bring
带来新的
about
机遇。
more opportunities for mutually beneficial
“一
cooperation
带一路”
among
倡议提出来
countries
以来，得到了
in the
沿线
region.
及更广领域国家的
And
积
this
极的响
initiative
应。
is warmly received
英方
by
对参与
countries
“一
along
带
the
一路”
route
建
in
设
larger
表示
areas.
出
And the
浓厚的兴
UK
趣。
side has expressed a strong interest
希望
in
将
participating in the
英格兰
construction
北
of
部的
this
经济中心
initiative and
同“一带一路”建
hopes
设对
to
接，
align its Northern Powerhouse
这
project
是一件好事
with。the Belt and Road Initiative.
“一带一路”
This is
建设
great
它是
news.
开放的，中国人讲
The
众
Belt and
人
Road
拾柴火
Initiative
焰高
is open,
我们愿
and
推
we
进“一带一
know
路”
that
建设
when everyone
与
adds
英国相关规划
wood
的
to
对
the
接，
fire, the flame will go
欢迎
high.
英国企
And we
业
welcome
积极参
UK's
与“一带
participation,
一路”的建
and
设，
we encourage Chinese
鼓
companies
励中国
to
企业
the
对英
construction
格兰北
of
部进
Northern
一步的
Powerhouse
开展投资，实现
and make more
互利共赢。
investment so that we'll achieve
我们此行
win-win
啊
results.
也安排了到曼彻斯特，
And I will visit Manchester
我很期
during
待
this
着
trip.
到那里
I'm
看到
looking
那里
forward
的一些情
to
况。
seeing
谢谢。
what's happening in Manchester. Thank you.
Let me just add, I mean, one of the points of these in-depth discussions that we've been having here today and we'll have tomorrow in Chequers is to better understand each other's economic strategies and how we can have the maximum benefit for both our countries from them. And I've been explaining to the Chinese president how we made some choices in Britain, the choice to prioritise infrastructure investment like high-speed rail, the choice to rebalance our economy and build the Northern Powerhouse, the choice to give a priority to high-tech and skills jobs and training, just as the President has been explaining to me the One Belt, One Road initiative and what that means for China and how other countries can benefit from investing in that vision. And that's very much, going back to the answer to the original question, that's the point of such a dialogue, is to better understand each other's economic needs and priorities for mutual benefit. But thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Mr. President.
谢谢大家。